This is the story of the 7 ravens. Let us be off. Away we go. Once, in a little town, in a little house, there lived a father and a mother and their 7 young sons. As luck would have it, the mother gave birth to an 8th child, this one a baby girl. Now she was ill, deathly ill, and her parents feared for her life. The father turned to his 7 sons. "Quickly, my boys," he said, "run down to the well and fetch some water in this jug. Bring it back for your sister, that her fever may break." The 7 boys took the jug and ran down to the well. When they got there, the oldest one said, "I'll dip the jug into the water and bring it back to father and mother for our sister." The second oldest said, "No, I will," and grabbed for the jug. And the third said, "No, I." And the fourth said, "No, I." The 5th one said, "No, I'll do it." And the 6th one said, "No, it must be me." And the 7th one said, "Let me have a go." And they all grabbed at the jug so ferociously that it slipped from their hands and fell down into the water with a splash. The boys did not know what to do. How would they get water for their sister? They stood there anxiously, as if frozen to the spot. The father and mother waited and waited, looking nervously at their sick daughter. "What can be keeping those boys?" they said. At last, the father grew angry. "Don't they care about the life of their baby sister?" he said. "Those boys have angered me so. Why, I wish that they would all turn into ravens and fly away." No sooner had the terrible curse left his lips than he heard a whirring of wings from far off. He and his wife rushed to the window, only to see 7 coal-black ravens flying off into the distance. It was no use. He could not take back his wicked wish. Now, the girl, for her part, grew well again and grew older. She lived with her parents and was raised as an only child. Everyone in the village loved her, and she had a happy childhood, though she always thought she saw a hidden sadness behind her parents' eyes. But when she asked them about it, they simply said, "It is nothing, dear sweet child, nothing at all." Well, one day, as she was walking down a village road, she heard 2 of the townspeople talking, who did not know that she was nearby. One of them said, "Isn't it a shame about the girl?" And the other said, "Yes, to be the source of her brother's disappearance. What a tragedy indeed." This puzzled the girl. "Brothers?" she said. "But I don't have any brothers." She went home and asked, "Mother, Father, did I ever have any brothers?" At this, her parents began to weep. They hugged each other in sorrow, for they had not allowed themselves to think about their missing sons in a long, long time. Now, they were obliged to tell their daughter the entire story. She said to them, "I will go out and rescue my brothers." Her parents shook their heads. "No, no, it is too dangerous. A terrible journey like that is not a place for a young girl like yourself." But she insisted. And the very next morning, before anyone else in the entire village had even woken up, she left, taking with her only a little loaf of bread, a small bottle of water, a tiny chair to sit on in case she grew tired, and a ring that her mother had given her. She walked and walked and walked out of the village, out of the kingdom where she had spent her entire life, down and down and down the roads and far away to the strange, wild places. She walked and walked until she came to the ends of the earth, where the land fell away, and there was nothing before her but the hot, blazing sun, which looked down at her with a fiery gaze and said, I will burn anyone who comes near. The girl was terrified. She stumbled back and ran. She ran and she ran and she ran until she was far away from that terrible place where the land ended and the sun blazed hot. She walked and walked until the road began to wind its way up into the hills. Up and up and up she went. She climbed mountain after craggy mountain, higher, higher, and higher, till the earth fell away below her, and she found herself at the roof of the world, with nothing but sky all around her, and there, before her, was the old, cold, gray moon, which scowled at her and said, I smell the flesh of a human child. This frightened the young girl beyond measure. She climbed down and down and down, scrambling over the rocks as fast as her arms and legs would carry her, away from the highest of all high mountains and the old cold gray moon. Down and down and down she went until she was back, safe on land once more. She walked and walked and walked until she came to a wide open place. Nothing was there at all but the light of the beautiful stars. The stars seemed to cluster close around her, and there they were, beautiful, shining, twinkling, and perched on their little star chairs. The stars were good to her. She spent time with them, sitting, eating from her loaf of bread, and drinking from the bottle of water. After a while, the brightest and most beautiful of them, the morning star, arose and said to her, I know what it is you seek. You wish to rescue your 7 brothers that were turned into ravens. They dwell far away in the glass mountain, where no mortal will ever be able to enter unless they know how to unlock the door. The morning star handed the young girl a little chicken bone. This shall do the trick, said the morning star. But keep it safe. Mind you do not lose it. The girl thanked the morning star. She tucked the chicken bone into a pocket of her dress and set off. She walked and walked and walked. Oh, how she walked! Far and far and farther still, farther than she knew she could. She walked until there were holes worn into the soles of her shoes. The dust of the road settled upon her shoulders. How weary she was, but she knew that she had to rescue her brothers. So on she went, on and on and on, until there, in the distance, was a strange shape. She came closer and closer until there it was, unmistakably before her, the glass mountain. She walked right up to it, and the road came to an end right at a great glass door. Here it was at last, and there was the keyhole. She reached into her pocket and Oh, horror! She had lost the chicken bone that the morning star had given her. She did not know what to do. She sat down on the ground and took her head in her hands and wept. Had she come so far? Had she journeyed so long only to be thwarted at the very end? No, no, she would not give up. She must go on, no matter the cost. She reached into her pocket and took out her pocket knife. The girl cut off her little finger and stuck the finger bone in the keyhole of the great glass door. She turned it, and the door opened. She bandaged her finger and went inside. And there she found herself in a glass hall. Everything within was glass. There were glass tables and glass chairs. There was a glass clock. There were glass curtains. There were even glass crystals hanging from the glass chandelier. A glass door opened, and in walked a little dwarf. "I am the servant of the glass mountain," said the dwarf. "And who are you?" "I? No one at all," she said. "Just a girl come to rescue her 7 brothers." "You mean the 7 ravens?" said the dwarf. She nodded. "This is their home," said the dwarf. "They are my masters. I serve them when they are here. And now the table is set for their meal. They should be returning any moment." The girl approached the table and found 7 glass plates and 7 glass cups. She ate a bit of food from each plate, and she drank a bit from each of the cups. Then, into the 7th and final cup, she placed the ring that she had brought from home. Then, she hid herself behind a glass curtain. A few minutes later, there was a whirring of wings, and the 7 ravens arrived in the hall. They approached the table, and each looked at his plate and his cup. "Someone has been eating my food and drinking my drink," said the oldest raven. "And mine too," said the second. "And mine as well," said the third. "Yes, and mine," said the fourth. "And mine," said the fifth. "Mine also," said the sixth. "And mine," said the seventh. And the 7th stared in shock at the bottom of his glass. "Look here," he said to his 6 brothers. "This ring, why, it looks just like one our mother used to wear." They looked around the hall, and out stepped the girl. "Who are you?" asked the 7 ravens. "I am your little sister," she said. The 7 ravens approached and took her into their feathery embrace. She laughed with joy and wept with gladness to be hugging her brothers at long, long last. And when her tears fell upon their black, black feathers, the boys were turned back into humans once again. How they sighed with relief to be free of that curse after so many years. Well, together they left the glass mountain and began the journey back to the world they knew. The young girl and her brothers, the 7 ravens.